Hello everyone, you're welcome to Enchanting Cake Art Studio. I am Ayodeji. I'll be teaching you today on the origami cake design, and this time around we're doing it with a difference. We'll be working with a fondant covered cake, and we're doing the origami finishing using pastillage paste. So sit back, relax, watch and learn. Let's move on. The first part of this class is going to involve the formation of the frame. Okay, that's the formation of your former. So we will be using cardboard, and you will have to determine what size you want to work with. The reason for this I'll show us later. But you determine the size you want to work with on your own. How the size now, the difference in size, how it affects your cake eventually, I'm going to be telling you all of that. But this is the side of the cardboard I'm going to be working with. And I'm going to cut, we're basically going to be making like a long prism. We'll be making like a long prism, like something that is triangular, okay? And in this situation, I don't want us to just make something that you just have a curve like this without a base. So we'll be creating a base. It is the base that's going to make your prism very sturdy, and then it can sit on its own without opening by the time you place a heavy object on top. Because if there's nothing at the base holding it, by the time you place something heavy on top of here, you see that it expands, it spreads out. So all of that we're going to work against in such a way that you have something that is absolutely perfect to work with at all times. Because this is not a one-off thing. You can use it and then reuse it and reuse it until you're tired of using it. So let's start with the formation of the frame. Now I want to start with a 2 inches measurement. 2 by 2. That makes me, that gives me 4 inches. So I'm going to measure 4 inches. Just watch what I'm doing. I'm going to measure 4 inches on this side. That's it. And then I have another 4 inches. So basically, you discover that this cardboard gives you 8 inches. So what do? All you need to do is just slash it into 2. So I get my 4 inches again, just get the center, and then I link the 2 together. So we're basically starting with the paper craft work. Once the 2 sides are linked together, I will then cut into 2. For this craft work, please, precision is of absolute importance. Any 1 inch anywhere could mar your design eventually. Remember what we did when we were working on enchanting whimsical cutters? Symmetry. You need that symmetry to get a perfect looking design at the end of the day. So now I have this. This is going to eventually give me 2 prisms, okay? 2 long prisms. Now I need to cut the base, and because I want them to be of equal size, which is not a must, okay, you can also have it shorter. I want it to be equal sizes. I'm going to cut 2 inches from here. So it's going to be a triangle, a prism of equal sides. Remember your triangle in secondary school, was it secondary school or primary school? When you have a triangle that have equal sides, what is it called? You see all those things that we learned in school, see how they come into play in our adult life. So I have the third side, which is 2 inches. I have the initial one that we cut out, which is 4 inches. For this 4 inches, I'm going to divide it into 2 inches. Remember, it has equal sides. So I get my center, and I get my center here too. Make sure your center is your center. Don't borrow line from one side to the other. I'm going to make a line so that I get to see what I'm doing. You may make a line, or you may just go on and do what I want to do right now, which is using the back of my scissors. I use the back of my pair of scissors to make a straight indent so that my cardboard folds easily. You remember, when you're working with a thick cardboard, you need to like help it to be able to fold, you know. So I put that line on, and then I fold inwards. You can fold outwards too, but I don't want these markings to show. So you can see it folds easily on its own without any stress at all. See, perfect. That's just it. No stress about it at all. So I'm not going to close it up completely. I'm just trying to like do that, and it's still open like this. So this is it. Now if I want to use 2 inches as we have cut out, it's going to give me something of this size. But if I now decide that I don't want, I think I have some pieces of the smaller, okay, here. If I decide that I don't want my prism to be as wide as this, I can make use of a smaller size. This is 1.5. So you know that if you use 1.5 in place of 2, then your triangles at the end of the day, your cutouts will be narrower. Okay, they'll be slimmer. Now, what am I really saying? In essence, this is what I am telling you. So this one here, you can see it looks wider than this one. Even though the upper part is the same size, they are both 4 inches, 2 inches on each side. Can we see the difference? So it depends on what you want. Do you have a lot of time to spend on the cake and you want it to look really compact? Then you do this. You do the smaller one if you are really out for all that. But otherwise, this is absolutely very convenient. Okay, so that is what informs the difference in sizes of your prisms. Okay, so I'm going to just fix this so that it starts to heat up. So right at the edge of my paper, you do that quickly, and then quickly you place this. Start from where you start to apply the glue. Quickly you place it. Make sure it is sitting right at the edge. Okay, that's it. Beautiful. Make sure it is sitting right at the edge. Can you see that? Let it sit right at the edge. Can you see that? Okay. So now I move on to the other side. Take it in a little, and then apply my glue to the other end. If you know you can't handle this length, please make a shorter one. With time, you get better at it. And then quickly, it's not something you slip on, you just quickly fix it. Quickly. That's it. That is it. So you see, that's the second line. Right at the edge. Right at the edge. You don't want anything messing up your cutouts. Right exactly at the edge. You see, easy peasy. There is no stress about it. It's just straightforward. No stress at all about it. Okay, so this is what you do, and then you just keep going on and on like that. Within 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, you're done with one. Now your paste is nicely kneaded. Okay, your prism is ready. Your prism is ready. And then another thing about the cardboard, you know there are different types, okay? The one I'm using has a glossy back. So make sure you get this, not the paper type. Get good quality cardboard. Get good quality cardboard. Cardboard with a glossy back. That's more like it. Remember that I'm an advocate for thin paste rolling when it comes to cutouts. There is nothing like you making thick cutouts and then you're using all of your paste. Okay, and at the end of the day, now I told you guys yesterday that I made 500 grams of pastillage for this, and I was able to make the cutout that I need for the class, and this is still the remnant. So for an entire cake of 2 layers, cutouts and all that, with the enchanting whimsical quarters, I could just end up making 500 grams or at most 1 kg, which I will not finish. It all depends on how light you roll your paste. I am going to now measure out my 4 inches. Now this is where my ruler comes into play. For those who do not have this ruler or you do not have this mat, I would want you to make a template. I'll talk about it later, but just watch what I'm going to do because I don't want this paste to dry out. Okay. So I am my mat is calibrated. So I have my base. I have my base and I'm working with 6 inches. So I cut out my 6 inches height. Okay, this is my 6 inches height. Now remember the width of the prism that we cut. 2 here, 2 here, 4 inches. Remember at the beginning. So I'm going to have 4 inches width. So all I do is place my metal ruler and get my 4 inches from my mat. If you don't have this mat, just use your ruler and pen to mark your 4 inches. Okay. Now I have this rectangle of 6 by 4. Mark the same center on this side. The reason why I'm marking, you get to see in a moment. So I mark my 4 inches on that point, and then I'm going to now take my ruler. In your own case, you can take your ruler and use your wheel cutter to do that, but my grid is helping me out. So I take it from that angle to this angle, and I do the same to this side, from that angle to this angle. It has to be perfect. You can see it's right at the edge here. It's right at the tip here. So that is it. And I've already marked my center. Remember, I marked my center at the base here, the long base. So all you then do is, now for you to be careful, if assuming, okay, you can actually use this end as your guide. And if you use this end, probably, you know, this is 12 inches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, almost 12. So maybe you're doing 5 inches. This edge can be your guide for placement, for straight placement, okay? And then this edge will be the guide for another straight placement. So you have 2 on the same prism, all right? But if you're probably working with 11 or let's say 10, and your prism is this long, and you need to get a straight line, what do? Because you may end up placing it and then there is a slight lopsidedness, which will affect your result later. What you do is, before you start, make a mark, making this base as a reference point. Make a mark probably of 1 inch in, 1 inch in, line it, so that line becomes your reference point for this long base. I hope you understand that. If you don't understand, remind me please, let me explain to you. You can see I didn't use my finger to lift the paste. I used something to raise it before lifting it. I did not stretch it. So remember my center that I marked. All I do is then just find my spot, my center at the base, and then the tip of my triangle is the center, is my reference point for the upper part. So I just let it slip nicely on my former. Then if you want it to have a sharp end, just use your 2 fingers, your 2 forefingers to put it together, not like suffocatingly together, you know, just a little. All right, so put it together and we're good to go. See, this is what I was talking about, making a mark. So you make your mark so that you don't end up having one side shifting in and the other one shifting out. But once you have your straight line, you're good to go, or your base becomes your reference. So you shift your cutout all the way to this edge for it to be your reference point, okay? And then you place another one on this one. Then you have 5, 5, or I think you can still get 6, 6. Or it was 11, 5, 5, or 4, 4, or something like that. But in this case, I'm using 6. So 2 6 cannot stay here because the length is 11. All right? So that is it. And that is it. So simple. So simple. So simple. And there are no creases. There are no creases because the paste was just perfect. So let's cut out the template. The template that you now be using to cut out your triangles. Okay, so we have 4 inches. Let's see, this is up to 6 inches. Perfect, is absolutely 6 inches. So I have 6 inches in length, and then our width is 4 inches. It's so easy. It's absolutely very easy. So I'm just going to mark 4 inches from here. 4 inches here. And then I bring the two together. If you're not understanding anything, please feel free to ask me. Ask me. So I just cut this out. Remember the initial rectangle that I cut out from the paste. So this is the same rectangle on card. And then I find my half length. I'm so used to just placing things on my mat and just marking out. So let me just use the ruler. So with the ruler, I find my half length, which is 2 inches on this point, and then 2 inches on this point, 2 inches on this point. Now the next thing we're going to do is, I don't even need this side, it's only this upper side I need. We're going to now link this angle with this center. Link this angle with this center. Draw it. If you're watching and you're doing yours, you'll discover that it's better for you like that. That was why I came online yesterday, so that everybody can get their materials ready. So you link the triangles like so. You can see it. Yeah, that's it. So you make the triangles like that. That's all. And then you cut out. So that's the template. As simple as that. That's the template. So how do you then use it? If there's anything you don't understand, feel free to ask me. If you're understanding it, let me know. If you're enjoying it, let me know. If you want to try it out, let me know. If you have something to tell me and you want to come on live, let me know. Let me know anything at all. Okay? So I roll thin. Roll thin. Don't waste your paste. This is pastillage. It dries firmly. So I roll like so. And anytime I roll, before I do my cutout, I lift my paste to release it first. And I place my cardboard on it. Now I am not going to now start cutting on the cardboard. You can do that. You can cut right around the edges of the cardboard. But another thing you can also do is roll your rolling pin over the cardboard. Not roll, just like caress your rolling pin on the paste. Let's see whether it shows us what we want. Okay, and then I have the markings. I've discovered that this works perfectly for me. And you use this when you know that it is still straight. When it is bent, please don't try it. Okay, so I just follow the line created. I follow the mark. So if you don't have a metal ruler, please go and get one. And it does wonders with buttercream too. And then I just remove all of this, all the excess, and then we're good to go. That's it. Okay. So now, you know, remember that we made a mark for the half measure for that base. So the mark is there. I just follow that mark and I make a mark on my paste. That gives me the center. You have to note the part that is going to be attached onto the cake, and that is these edges here. Remember what we did when we did enchanting whimsical cutters. We're coming to the same thing. So my real icing there, like so. And then you just find a spot and then you fix it. Be gentle. Just fix it. You see that? Maybe any other time we're doing anything like this, I'll not make it white. I'll make it color. So once you have that, we go on to the next one. You see how easy it is. It's just like working with whimsical cutters. I mean, the only work you have to do is when you're making your pieces. And even that one, so when you're making it, it's fun. Is it not? It's so much fun. So this now is going to be upside down, like so. Okay, I'm going to give you another tip now. So in between here, I'm going to run the brush through, so I have a neat finish in between there. So I have a neat finish there. Okay, and then I'm not going to bother about this one yet until I place the third one. You need to see what I'm doing. Right on the edge. You see that the real icing is no longer that runny. Okay, then you come over and just gently place it, making sure that it kisses nicely, and that is where your structure needs symmetry, you know, alignment. You can put your real icing and use your brush to finish up like so. You see that? You see that? So we keep moving on like that. And you push it in. Now, another thing you need to be careful about is that I would advise that you do this when your cake is freshly covered. You remember, that was what I also said when you're working with your enchanting whimsical cutters. Work on it when your cake is freshly covered, because you want your cutouts to sit neatly against your cake. So when your cake is dry, when your fondant is dry on your cake and you start to fix this, you may end up having to press into the cake in such a way that you already start to dislodge your fondant in some places, and because of transporting, everything can kaput. So let it be in such a way that your fondant is still fresh on your cake, and then this can sit easily on it and everything frames up together at the same time. I hope we're understanding. Okay, so this is how you do all that. Let me just add two more so that we can have a general effect of what the front looks like. But before I do that, let me show you again what I'm doing. Right on the edge. I hope you can see better now. Right on the edge. It's me that cannot now see what I'm doing. Right on the edge, like so. And then it's facing up. You see? Just ensure that it sits. Let it sit. And then see in between here, use your brush. Ensure that it is neat and well blended. So I just do one more. So I place it again. You see how that kisses? Let me shoot it this way. You see how that kisses? Can you see that? Can you see it? So, and then all I do is just use my brush in between here to neaten it. So that we have what it could look like. So we have this at the top, like so. So you see, and then you do all the finishing. You want to add some gold accents to it. You want to put some flower. You have maybe like an emblem. You have a mold work that you want to put. Your cake must be neatly covered because it is obvious from here. Okay, I'm very, very excited about this really, and it's something that we have had in the pipeline to teach since after the buttercream class. So if you enjoy this, okay, and you should be on the lookout for the final work. If you enjoy this, then watch out next week, God willing. We're going to have the chocolate ganache version. Okay, so in that class, we're going to be going back to our template. The template we created when we were doing the buttercream. We'll go back. I'll bring out my own. I'll bring all of mine out. Then you get to see it. We'll check which one conforms with the height of our cake. Remember, I said there are molds now in the market that you can use to do your buttercream and origami buttercream and chocolate ganache designs. There are molds. But what if the height differs? It's just like this one now. We have worked with a 6-inch height. And I told you that you can also work with a 5-inch, a 4-inch, a 10-inch, depending on the prism that you create. That's it. Do it yourself. DIY is the thing. So with the template for the buttercream and the chocolate ganache also, you can create your template as we did in that class. Go onto the YouTube channel and find it. It is there. You'll see it, origami design. I think there's an introductory part and then there's a buttercream part, or they are both together. I'm not too sure right now. But just go there and see it. You will find it absolutely interesting. That's for those of you who are just joining us. This is how we roll in our live classes. No holds barred. Don't just come alone. Come with a friend. The more, the merrier. So thank you so much for being a part of this class. Watch out for the concluding parts of this in video and in picture. And I hope you get to make yours and tag me when you do. Mention me when you do at Enchanting Cakes, and I'll be there to spur you on and then give you the thumbs up. Thank you so much for being a part of this class. I hope you have been able to learn one or two things that you can translate into your cake decorating journey. Remember, join us every Tuesday at 2 p.m. on our Instagram page at Enchanting Cakes. for more educating cake decorating techniques. Ours is no holds barred. We open everything up, breaking it down from A to Z. We look forward to having you join us. So now that we're at this point, kindly hit the like button and don't forget to also subscribe to our videos so that every time we have a new upload, you get to know about it. We look forward to having an absolutely beautiful relationship with you, creating awesome edible arts. Thank you for being with us. Cheers.